Greetings, everybody. This is Archangel McIntosh, aka Archangel Michael, from the 12 tribes of Israel. Yis-RoyAl, the 12 tribes of Jacob, descendants of Isaac and Abraham, coming from the tribe of Levi, Lawaya, the tribe of the Haitians, that migrated from Israel as well, and from the tribe of Judah, Yahawada, which is pretty much the so-called Negroes or the Moors, which migrated from Mexum, Africa as well, from Israel, from around that area, the land of Canaan. Well, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. I woke up today in a very good mood. It's been a pretty challenging journey for me recently. A lot of things been happening in the world that that haven't been disclosed to people. Pretty serious things, and and sometimes it tend to bother me from time to time because I can't believe we're not doing anything about it. And it is what it is. But the more people assert their rights and they stand up for what's right, and people become the law, act like the law, speak like the law, write the law, and know the law. You know what I'm saying? Until people can do that, these people's gonna keep stepping on us until we step up and take a proactive, position in our system. Because the system is built by the people for the people, and our ancestors had made specific rules and regulations for these officials so they wouldn't pass a certain boundary or limit. And now us people need to take a proactive step as peaceful as we can, probably through the system, to bring these people down and get some justice in our system. So I hope from you guys learning these things, you can begin using it to free each other from all the fictitious legal bounds that we are being entangled with in this system, and all these fictitious contractual agreements they keep claiming exist but never shows proof. They never show you proof that statutes apply to you, even when you conditionally accept their claims and their orders and all they want to do and stuff, only if they show proof that is you're obligated to fulfill it or perform it. They can't even show you that. And because no one stands up and say, hey, that's wrong to put him in jail when you have no evidence, they just keep doing it. And we're afraid to stand up and do that because we think we're going to go to jail. And if it's like that, then we're under slavery, guys. If it's like that, then we're under slavery. Like you have no choice but to be in this invisible contract with these guys, and you're obligated to perform with no contract. And you keep telling them you don't consent, yet they still want to go into your car or get your picture and fingerprint, even though you say you don't consent. Ain't that slavery? Well, yeah, I've been, going through it a little bit and just seeing what's going on in the world, and it's just, making my stomach sick. So with that said, we shine light upon it. I want to begin with a prayer real quick. Father in heaven, Ahaya, sure, Ahaya, the Almighty I am, pure, white, light, master of the natural law, master of the nature and the universe, creator of the stars, sun, and moon. I call upon you to protect us and shield us in your loving light and your grace and your mercy. Please forgive us, Father, for all of our sins and all of our debts. And we also forgive those who are indebted to us, and those who trespass us, and those who sin against us. Give us today our daily bread, our wisdom, our knowledge, our sign, and deliver us from evil into love and light. We love you, Creator, and we know that you speak to us through our heart and in our head. We think it's our inner voice, but it is you speaking to us from the inside, and we must obey ourselves. We must have self-discipline. We must be courageous. We must stand up for what's right, because Yeshua always stood up for what's right. Martin Luther King had always stood up for what's right. Gandhi had always stood up for what's right. So why won't we stand up for what's right? We will, we can, and we are. And we thank you, Father Ahaya, the Almighty I am, the highest self, the greatest I am. We thank you for everything that you give us. Amen. Om. mani padme hum, Om mani padme hum, Om mani padme hum, Om. All right, let's begin. Want to put on some cool frequencies, our highest frequencies, God's frequency. All right, let's go ahead and let's start learning. Get your pencils, get your pads. Make sure you take note, please. You're gonna wish you did, or you're gonna have to see this all over again. Please don't ask me questions that's already answered in these videos, because all the answers are in this video. But if there's a question that you have, you can still ask me, but make sure that you pay attention and you take notes, because most of your questions are going to be answered here. Before I begin, one of a close friend had asked me a couple of questions after seeing the video. I also wanted to address it here. All right. Taking 1 second real quick. All right. So he started off with Satnam. I'm listening to the first video right now. LOL is very good, but I have some questions. First, what is the minimum amount of time the affiant can allow the respondent, because you are the affiant, the claimant, and they are the respondent, because they're supposed to be responding, for the grace period? And let me go ahead and answer that there. I said the minimum of time you have to give for the grace period is 3 days, in accordance with the Truth in Lending Act. But to show extra good faith, give them 30 to 90 days. That validates your claim even more, because now they can't say they didn't have enough time to look at it and all that stuff, because they can come up with those type of excuses, you see. So it's really good to give them enough time so they can rebut it. All right, and that's the grace period. About 30 to 90 days. The minimum would be 3 days in accordance with Truth in Lending Act. And you have 3 days in accordance with Truth in Lending Act to dismiss, to revoke, and pretty much cancel any contract that you may have by signing your signature anywhere. Because anywhere you sign your signature, you're making a contract. So you got to make sure you're keeping track of that and send your paperwork with all of those contracts, all of the paperwork. So walk around with extra copies of your paperwork pretty much. And it takes a crap load of ink or a lot of money to pay for the ink. It's really simple, but you got to do this or you're stuck. You got to do this. There's no other way out of this game. And second, does the first affidavit have to state the intent of placing a commercial lien? And I had told him the notice with demand affidavit and the notice of default affidavit should state your intent clearly, thoroughly, and very specific in nature. Rerum natura. It would be great if you talk about the lien on the penalty clause of your first affidavit. So yeah, in your first affidavit, it is important that you state your intent to place a commercial lien on their property. And hold on, let me see. Pardon me. Yeah, it's really great to state your intent on from the very beginning, that you may be garnishing their wages, that you may have to seize and levy their property in order to fulfill their indebtedness to you. They would have to give you their car, their clothes, the clothes on them, their house. You would have to state that in the affidavit in order for it to be true. You see what I'm saying? Because now when they don't rebut it, it becomes truth. The unrebutted affidavit stands as truth. You see? So it's really good to state the intent in the beginning, but if you can't, on your notice in demand affidavit, after your first affidavit, I would definitely state it there. Because now you're giving them a notice and you're demanding them that they're going to be giving you this and that. You see what I'm saying? But I do truly believe you should do it on the first affidavit, because the notice in demand should be after the first affidavit. After you had stated your claims and your intent and they haven't rebutted it, you send them a notice of demand, a notice of default. You see, you can either make the notice of in demand alone, or you can make it you can also associate it with your default by putting notice in demand and notice of default. You see what I'm saying? After you send the first affidavit. But if you do it like that, then you would have to make sure that you state your intent from the very first affidavit. And that is the professional way, and the proper way to do it is to do everything on the first affidavit. You see? All right. Now here's another question he had. Third question. Do you have to be a secured party creditor to use this remedy? And the word secured party creditor does come from UCC, which is the Uniform Commercial Code, or the Universal Commercial Code, the one word order commercial code. I don't really mess with the UCC that much anymore because they're a private company, which mean they have their own private jurisdiction, their own private law. And when you're working in their system and through their system or with them, you're under their law. You see what I'm saying? You're either equal to their law or under their law, not above it. So that can put you in a contract automatically. Because just listening to this video is a contract with me. You making a contract with me, stating that you're going to let these words come into your head and you're going to let me convince you that these things are the truth today. You see, because if you don't refuse it, if you don't disagree with it, if you don't change it, turn it off, it's a consent to hearing and accepting what happens from this. You see, so everything's a contract, even if you don't say it. A friendship is a contract. A relationship is a contract. You don't even need to verbalize it. You can just feel when it's a contract already, when you're kind of obligated to someone. All right, let me continue on. So what I said right here about the secured party creditor, once they're in default, you automatically become a lien creditor and they become a lien debtor. They are obligated to pay you now, and you are authorized as a creditor or fiduciary through their default to impound the specific property that you claimed and also garnish their wages if you stated that too. So whatever you stated in your affidavits, in your notices and demands and defaults is what you're going after now. Now you're summarizing everything down to one paper, and on that paper you're going to clearly state that you sent them an affidavit on this and that date, and they entered default on this and that date. You haven't got a response since this and that date, and now you're about to do this because their notice of default is consent and authorization for you to do what you claimed on in your paperwork, your proof. So now you do that, and then we're gonna learn what to do next through here and through the video as we go, because I'm not gonna explain all that now because we have a long way to go still. So here's question number 4. Do all parties do all parties have to be served via certified mail or via registered mail? Remember, certified mail keeps it public, registered mail brings it into the private, and you may want to do it private. You see, because this is a private contract. Make sure you put that on your affidavit as well, and your notices and demands, that this is private. That sets the jurisdiction from the beginning. Private and confidential. All right. And so forth. Do all parties have to be served via certified mail, including the judge presiding over the case? Hold on. Pardon me. The case matter? All right. So let's see what I said right here. Thank you for being here with me today, guys. By the way, if you would like to donate to me, it would help me out a lot. I've been going through a lot of financial difficulties during this time, and I need help right now. So if you can donate 5, 10, 15, or whatever you have or can to me for my time and service, and for my gift of enlightening you and inspiring you and giving you free information, pretty much, because this is all free, you know. You can do so by contacting me via God Lives in Our Heart at hotmail.com, because on YouTube it's not letting me see my comments in my my messages sometimes on there. So it's pretty difficult to receive your messages, especially because I have different YouTubes, because YouTube been shutting down some of my accounts and stuff like that and targeting me through there. So I've been using different accounts in order to bring the information out as quick as I can before they do what they're gonna do to me. 11:11 on the spot. This ain't the right time on my computer though, but yes, it's 11:11 right on the dot. All right, let me see one thing. So this is what I told him. Everybody involved in injuring you. Ooh, bless me, always light. Everybody involved in injuring you, committing a tort, or wrongdoing, or breaching the law, or breaking the law, or breaking a contract, or potentially gonna injure you, should be served with an affidavit. So that would mean the police, the judge, whoever else is involved that you know would not want to listen and stuff, and want to bum rush you through a case or something. You know, all of them should be served with the affidavit. A specific affidavit with the opportunity to cure, whatchamacallit. If someone's sending you a claim, you would send it with a counterclaim, which is all in one affidavit. So a specific affidavit with counterclaim, opportunity to cure, and negative averment. Because the negative averment is also another way for them to whatchamacallit, to solve this controversy, this accusation. So the negative averment will pretty much state that they owe me this, and if they don't pardon me, let me see how I can say it properly. If they want to beat this case and they want me to drop this case, they either A, gotta pay this amount, or B, have to give me this or that back, or whatever, blah blah blah, or C, or pay the counterclaim, or D, get sued for everything. You know, that's what you would put in your negative averment, is the opportunities and ways that they can cure it. The opportunity to cure clause is specifically supposed to state how much time they have to free themselves from this obligation. They have 30 days or 90 days or 3 days in accordance of Truth in Lending Act to respond or do whatever, and if they don't, then you can do whatever you want to do based on your negative averment and your affidavit. Your affidavit just stating the claims and the charges and all that stuff. And now in the counterclaim, if they want to state that you did do what they say that you're doing, and they're still trying to injure you and go to court, then you're gonna hit them with the counterclaim, which is charging them per offense, per violation, per person. You see what I'm saying? So $100,000 for abuse of power, $200,000 for trespassing, $5,000 for perjury and treason. You know, $6,000 for pardon me. Let me see. For unlawful arrest. You know, things like that. Or $10,000 for breach of confidence or negligence. You see? So that's all that you would put in your counterclaim, pretty much. Whatever penalties you're gonna put, and you get that notarized and you send it off to them certified mail. And notary, you can get it at USPS. I mean, not USPS. Pardon me. The FedEx. from the FedEx place, and yeah, at the UPS store, pardon me, the UPS store, they can notarize it. The check cashing place, I believe they can notarize it too, but most of them give people a hard time. And you can also notarize at the court or find a private notary to do it for you. And or you can do it with 2 or 3 witnesses or more, because in the Holy Book and in the law it states that it takes 2 witnesses or more. Actually says that right here, to confirm the truth or whatever was stated in that truth affidavit, to confirm the truth that you were the person stating this, and now you're under all types of risk, and these witnesses are under all types of risk now, to state the truth that was you who wrote your signature on there and wrote the paperwork. You see, 2 or more witnesses to establish the law. All right, let's go ahead and finish off. So everybody involved in injuring you or potentially gonna injure you should be served with an affidavit. It's a lot of work, but now that you are in appropriate persona, your appropriate personality, and appropriate persona, you must know how to be the law, speak the law, and enforce the law, as well as write the law. That's what your position is. You must see it that way in order to ever get what I'm saying. You should pardon me. You should send or place your paperwork in your case file as well, like in your court date or whatever case that you may have open. Make sure you put all these paperwork in your court case way before your court case by going to the traffic section in your county courthouse. You see, or yours may be different, so check out your county and look for your name in the criminal record or the civil record. And most likely it might be in the criminal record, which is commercial. All crimes are commercial according to CFR 1142 or 1192. I gotta remember, but CFR Code of Federal Reserve stating that all crimes are commercial. So most likely you might be in a commercial court, which is a criminal court. So go to the criminal record by going to yahoo.com, type in your county's courthouse name into the search box. For me, I'm in West Palm Beach, so I put Palm Beach Courthouse. If you're in Boston, whatever, you'll put in Boston County Courthouse or Dorchester County Courthouse. Whatever your county courthouse is, look it up and then go there, click on it, and then go to criminal record or civil record. If you don't find a criminal record, type your name into the search box and your full name, and check out your case. You can actually see your case and see what they're saying, and because they put things into your file, and if you don't rebut it, they stand as truth just as well. So you must know how to use the record and engage in this war, this peaceful war, through your case file as well. So you can get the address of where to send your paperwork if you rather not go in there and you want to send it certified mail to have proof that you send it to them, which you should do, because I believe I had difficulties in court because I was walking into the jurisdiction of the courthouse to place my paperwork in there instead of sending it certified mail to hold them liable as well, whoever's holding my paperwork. So therefore they pretended that they didn't see it. So if you have the certified mail receipt with it stating that you had sent the county recorder's office your affidavits and paperwork to put on the record, you can question the judge, have they read your affidavit yet? You see what I'm saying? Have you read my affidavit yet? An affidavit is a sworn truth. It's very essential to this case. It's very essential. You might want to take 10 to 15 minutes to go read it real quick, because it will pretty much prove my position. And I have a certified mail receipt or registered mail receipt with proof that I had sent you the paperwork. Have you read my affidavit? Can the jury read the affidavit then? Because this is part of the case. It's vital evidence. You see what I'm saying? So you need that certified mail receipt as well with your case. And make sure you place your paperwork into your case file before your court case, way before your court case, at least 2 weeks before, at least, or at least 1 week, but if you can still send in it at any time, you know what I'm saying? But it's best to do it way before, or you're gonna get stuck. Because if you do it at the last moment, most likely you didn't give them enough time to read it. They're probably not gonna read it and things like that. But if you give them enough time, most likely they'll read it just to, make sure they don't, do something wrong before they get on your case. So now if you let them know beforehand, before they sit at that table and stuff, they're already gonna make a contract with you if they choose to injure you. So make sure you send them an affidavit as well, stating that if they misplace or damage or lose your paperwork in any way, shape, form, or manner, you're gonna penalize them this and that, and and it'll be obstructing justice as well, because that is definitely obstructing justice and tampering with evidence and stuff, and that's a big crime as well. So matter of fact, that can be treason. So because that's against their oath of office, that's not right if you're obstructing evidence from being placed on them for the record. So send them an affidavit with that. So if they do end up doing that and breaching you and committing treason and trespassing you, then you can enforce all these paperworks and then begin lien processes on each one of them. You see, now you're ahead of yourself and ahead of the game and stuff. Now, and after they finish damaging you and you get a chance to get out and do whatever, now you can sue them and have them liable for what they have done in injuring you, and triple the counterclaim and the negative environment. And you're gonna have to know how to use these affidavits, in other words. So hold on, the fifth question right here is, alright, do all copies have to be certified copies? It's really great to always get certified stuff. Everything certified is great, but it's not necessary as long as you have the original. Because if you have the original and you send them the copies, the original is the powerful instrument, the most powerful instrument, because it shows who's in charge of it and who's in control of it, and who's creating that illusion, the dream, the terms and conditions of the contract or the affidavit or the matter. So it is always good to have to send certified copies, because then it's like having a witness stamp on your paperwork that through the notary or someone like that, through the court, and have them certified, which is pretty much saying, yep, I seen the original, he definitely have the original, this is a certified copy. So it's good to have that on there, because it makes it just as powerful as the original, instead of just sending it without certified copies. Alright, so next question, I believe there's the last question right here. No, actually, there's 2 more questions. Alright. 6. Who or what agencies do I have to CC or put on notice? Alright, so I'm not sure what he mean by CC. Alright, an agency, if the only people you're sending these affidavits to, once again, is the people who's injuring you or potentially going to injure you, to put them on notice and state your intent, your terms and conditions as a sovereign being in a independent body of politics, your intent, your claim of right, and things like that. Make sure you reserve all your rights as well. So those are the only people that you would be sending these copies to. The lien, you can send it to a broker's office by making a deal with a broker, and they can sell the contract in the stock market, because every contract can be sold in the stock market just like mortgages, and you can make money from it. You see, or you can sell it to the IRS, and now they'll buy it from you and send you a check, and they'll go after. You can ask them if they want to buy it, and they go ahead and levy their property and take their property. Like, you can sell the lien to any credit collection office. Wherever a credit collection office is, they're always looking for new property to take, especially if it's if there's a lot of interest involved. You see, so you gotta know how to sell this paperwork now, and you have to have the U.S. Tracer sign on it, the Title 15 USC Tracer flag. I would put that on all my affidavits from the beginning as well. Put it at the top. We'll learn about that at the bottom and stuff. Matter of fact, let me get you a picture real quick. Hold on one sec. Right there. Put this on your affidavit. This is important. A security. That means this is a security. You're letting them know from the beginning. Title 15, United States Code. Commercial affidavit. This is a USC Securities Exchange and Commissions tracer flag, not a point of law. See attached instruction. See, now this is what you would put on it, on your affidavit from the beginning too, if you can. See, affidavit of notice, declaration, and demand. Fair notice and warning of commercial grace. This is a United States Security and Exchange Tracer flag, not a point of law. And this is a commercial affidavit, a private commercial affidavit. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue. Pardon me if taking a while to begin here, because I want to make sure I thoroughly answer these questions, because most of you guys may have the same questions. Alright, so this last question he stated or asked, and 7th, have you ever used this commercial lien process? And this is what I said right here. I done the suing process before, the process of the affidavit and everything for my case, but I didn't know about liens during that time. And on top of that, my funds had ran out, so I didn't have enough money to continue, and there was a lot of stuff I was hearing about the system during that time that was kind of trying to make us afraid and make me afraid and stuff like that, and kind of back out. And I felt alone because, like, I felt like a target for knowing so much and stuff, that I just said forget it. I just forgave the officer and forgave the people from Best Buy that had injured me for no reason and had put my pregnant baby mama, my partner, in jail and stuff for no reason, just for filming the officer injuring me, which I have a video about. So I began the process. I got up to the 3rd affidavit, and I probably can still continue it because they're literally in default now. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't complete it yet, and I didn't know about liens during that time, so I didn't know how to finish off the affidavit. Because after the affidavits, now what? After the defaults, now what? After I do the liens, now what? Where do I send it? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I've been studying now, and I've been learning now, and I finally get it. It's very easy. You're either selling all the documents and the evidence to a credit company or a collections company, and they're buying it, or you can sell it in the stock market as stock and get it a bond number, pretty much through the registered mail, the registered mail, pretty much through the USPS service, the United States Postal Service or Post Office. And the registered mail number would be the bond number. You see, because all your bond numbers, you can make any bond you want to even bond yourself out of jail, between you and your straw man, between you and your legal fiction, between you and the being of the pardon me, between you and the being that don't exist. the whatchamacallit, the all caps name legal fiction, the all caps name entity. You see, or the trust if you turn it into a trust, or a company if you turn into a company. Because eventually you have to turn it into a company, turn your straw man to a company, or turn it into a trust so it's seen as a trust and a company, and you have proof of that. You know, and you have to do that through articles of organization, affidavits, which is stating that you're beginning an organization, and the organization or business is the name of your all caps name legal fiction. So now you're definitely not being charged as that store or building or entity. And they must accept that and respect that. You need these proofs. So I learned and mastered affidavits though, and I know what a lien is and why they both are powerful to legally and lawfully levy properties. So liens is placing a levy on someone's property, a lien, an interest, a claim to someone's property. So I know what a lien is, and I know what an affidavit is. I mastered the affidavit through the process of me suing the officer and everyone else, and them not responding, and me not knowing where to go after. So now I know now. So I mastered the affidavits, and I know what a lien is. And once you know those two, both are powerful to legally and lawfully levy properties. This will help you claim your home as well, for free and stuff like that. But you must work on the house before you claim the house, because if a worker is worthy of their pay, so if you work on the house and you put them on notice that you're gonna work on the house, a notice of commencement, before you even start working on the house, and they don't respond and you work on the house, and you send them an invoice stating how much you're charging and they don't pay you, you can put a levy on their house if you send them affidavit stating you're gonna do that, and send that house 3 affidavits at least. And if the house don't respond, no one in that empty house or vacant house respond, send them create a lien, put it in your county recorder's deed office, and you can also sell it to IRS and stuff like that. Or if you sell it to IRS, you're selling the house, but if you keep it, you become the lien creditor and they become the lien debtor. And the only way for them to get the house back, or if someone try to claim the house, is by paying off that lien, because you had worked on that house. But aside of whatever they claim on the house or have on the house, you worked on the house and no one responded to you. So regardless if they do own the house or if they did have a lien on the house, because no one responded and stuff, they have to pay you. They have to, well, if someone else have a lien on the house, you're second. But if someone else is claiming the house and stuff, they would have to pay you what you stipulated in the lien in your affidavit before you can give them the house or dismiss the lien. You see, so you can take the house now as collateral, and most likely if it's a vacant house, and someone had foreclosed it and they couldn't pay it off, the bank can't own it, because the bank is a legal fiction. Legal fictions can't own anything because they don't exist, and legal fictions are always debtors. You see what I'm saying? They always owe us, the real living being that credited life in rerum natura, and in the world of where things are natural and real. So no one owns the house. So if you have a lien on it, the only way it can be dismissed and they can kick you out of the house is by fulfilling the lien. So you can claim houses through these affidavits. I didn't want to go into much detail here on this video. I didn't want hold on, pardon me. Yeah, I didn't want to pardon me. I'm over here getting distracted. Someone's over here contacting me on the phone. Alright, I didn't want to go into too much detail about that process now. I'll make another video about that. But please, if you have the funds to do it and the finances to do it, donate and send a gift, or do something to attribute to the movement, to help me out, to help you out, to help everyone out. It motivates me a lot, and I've definitely been going through financial difficulties at this moment. So if you can donate, please donate. I get discouraged at times of showing you guys videos and saying too much because I don't think people's listening anyway, and I don't think anyone care or appreciate what I do. So either say thank you or like the video or something, or send a donation or a gift, or something along that line. Contact me at godlivesinOurHeart@hotmail.com. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and continue with our lesson for today. Chapter 6, Obstacles and Strategies for Overcoming Them. Refusal to file liens. If the county refuses to file your lien. There have been instances reported in California and Ohio primarily, where county recorders or clerks of court refuse to file commercial liens on government officials. Usually they have been instructed by their frightened superiors to do so. One strategy for dealing with this problem, based on the Uniform Commercial Code (UCC), is described by David Ramir as follows. 1. Bring at least 2 witnesses along to every face-to-face meeting with the clerk, recorder of deeds office, to the sheriff's office, or anything dealing with these people. 2. After the meeting, have your witnesses prepare sworn affidavits of whatever they saw. So make your witnesses write affidavits swearing on the truth that this is what they seen, what they heard, and whatever they saw and heard the clerk, official, sheriffs say, do, or etc. 3. Get a written explanation or reason from clerk who refuses to record your document. Get it written. Everything is potent written. If creditors or anyone's contacting you through the phone, tell them to send you it in written form through your mail or email, via post office or whatever you're gonna send it to, and don't talk any further. Just hang up the phone. Because they're recording you, and they can use their recording to use it against you. And you can make a contract verbally without knowing it because you're still on the phone and you didn't hang up. That's a contract. You see? That's authorization right there. So watch out. Let them know that this conversation does not stipulate a contract until it is specifically stated that we are contracting. So we agreed to this contract. That we're not contracted yet until specifically and deliberately and explicitly expressed. So get it written, a written explanation. 4. As per your state Uniform Commercial Code Section 3-505 and 501, send a notice in demand for exhibition or presentment without dishonor by certified mail to the office that refused to accept your lien, demanding that they A. So you're going to send them a notice in demand for exhibition or presentment without dishonor. So do not dishonor this presentment, exhibition. You need to exhibit who you are, what law authorizes you to do, etc., and blah, blah, blah. So exhibition is to show something, to exhibit, to prove, to put on and for the record, and present without dishonor. And it's a demand as well as a notice, because you need to always send a notice. Notice is more powerful than you know. Just a notice stating something becomes truth after not being rebutted or refused or denied. So A, the statute or law passed by the legislator, which authorizes them to condemn the public records for their personal and private use. What statutes say you can evade the public record? B, their personal British accredited Regency or Bar Association or British Admiralty Registry or liar identification mark or number issued by the state bar or state. So their personal bar lawyer ID number issued by the state bar or state Supreme Court, which authorizes them to make legal determinations Because how can they make a legal determination for you? How can they say what is good or not good to go on public record when it's public record? Who gave them that authority, and where's their license to be working on my land? Their bar ID or lawyer ID, because that means they're under contract and they're bonded, and they have a obligation, a duty based on that bar ID, that lawyer ID, and it doesn't give them authorization over people who's not contracted with their British Admiralty registration bullshit registry. So what Supreme Court case or whatever gave them the authorization to make legal determinations for me? Are you making a legal determination for me? Are you making a legal determination that I can't put evidence into the public record? Are you making a legal determination that what I'm saying is not truth without first rebutting it point for point? You know? So C. Or are you making a legal determination that you are representing me or you are my lawyer without my permission? I conditionally accept your offer and your orders if and only if you can prove that I am obligated to do so. If there is a contract or a law stating that I have to fulfill what you're telling me I must perform or fulfill. That's a legal determination. You can't make a legal determination for me without a contract. And this ain't between me and you, it's between me and him or me and her, and you're interfering. Now you're becoming a party in the case and cannot be a judge. You can't be practicing law from the bench, and nor can you be you cannot be an interested party from the bench either. You're a referee. You're not anybody but a ghost that's supposed to be weighing out the evidence of both sides. You're not supposed to be interfering as a referee. So if you were injuring me and you can no longer work on the case, you must be recused, which means removed from my case specifically at least, and have another judge on it, and I might have to sue you too and bring you into court for injuring me too, because you're a regular human being just like me. We're all a human beings. We're all a natural human beings, natural living beings, spiritual beings having a human experience. So what makes you think you can hide behind your costume and stuff and I can't live? That I can't get justice because you have a suit or costume on like it's Halloween every day? Am I supposed to be scared by your Halloween costume? Yeah, I get you think it's Halloween every day and you're trying to put me in fear. But that does not give you the right over the Creator to disrespect the natural laws of do unto others what you want others to do unto you. And do not hurt one another. Do not steal from one another. Do not rob another. Do not steal each other's houses. What are you doing? Did you know you may be injuring me or might injure me? You can't make a legal determination for me, especially without a contract. So I conditionally accept your order if and only if you can prove this and that and furnish this evidence. C. The statute or law passed by the legislator which authorizes them to edit and or censor documents prior to recording it. So give them reasonable time, 30 days, to comply with your demand to prove written authority, and then put them on notice that the law of principal and agent, notice to the agent is notice to the principal, notice to the principal is notice to the agent, specifies that the agent is personally liable for acts not authorized by the principal. So as such, unless there are laws granting the clerk the power to refuse to record certain documents, the clerk or agent has no corporate veil of immunity for his refusals and may be personally vulnerable to a lawsuit as well, especially if they don't rebut it. 5. If, after the reasonable time has elapsed and they have failed to produce the written authority you demanded, send a notice of default by certified mail or registered mail, noticing them that they have defaulted by not answering, And a notice of dishonor, notice of default, notice of dishonor, notice of non-response, all in one, if you want. In it, provide them with a right to cure their default by recording your original lien or other documents without further interference. That's like a negative averment right there. Opportunity to cure. Or suffer the consequences. Allow 10 to 30 days for their response. 6. If they don't respond in the 10 to 30 days you stipulated, send them via certified mail a notice of amount due. So now this would be in the form of an invoice. A form of an invoice right here. Make sure you remember this. Notice of amount due. Because that will be the true bill in commerce. That would be the bill. You see, that would be the receipt, the evidence, the invoice. Notice of amount due. For the damage caused by their injury to you or your property rights. By their defalcation, dereliction of duty, default and unauthorized refusal to record in a sizable amount, $1,000, $1 million. I'll start off with $1,000. It doesn't need to be unnecessary. Again, give them reasonable time, 30 days to pay you. 7. After the 30 days, reasonable time has passed, plus 4 or 5 days for the mail. Send them certified mail a final notice of amount due for the damage caused by their injury to you. Again, give them reasonable time, 30 days to pay you the amount of damages you've demanded. 8. If they don't pay your final notice your final notice demand in 30 days, plus 4 or 5 days for the mail, go to the country elected peace officer. They're the country elected peace officers. They're supposed to be peace officers. That's the true name. AKA sheriff, which is their legal fiction disguise. They're really peace officers. Present copies of the 2 certified mail demands for payment. Sign a distress warrant or distraint warrant stating that you have not been paid, and have the sheriff go get your money or sell the clerk's assets. So you can even use the sheriff's office as well, the elected peace officer, the county's elected peace officer, to go get your property, as if someone has stole something from you and they owe you and they won't pay it off. So present copies of the 2 certified mail demands for payment. Sign a distress warrant or distraint warrant stating that you have not been paid, and have the sheriff go get your money or sell the clerk's assets. 9. If the sheriff refuses to execute your distraint warrant, inform him that you personally will perform his sworn duty for him and on his behalf. Make sure you say that, because if he can't do it, that means he's pretty much sending you to do it. Inform him also that the newspapers will be informed that he has refused to perform his own sworn duty, but continues to cash his paycheck, because our tax money pay these sheriffs. So how the heck you gonna cash your paycheck and use our money and my money? I'm paying you as you're not working no more for me. You're fired, pretty much. And that this constitutes fraud by him, since he only performs selective enforcement of the law, which is bias. It's like racist, legal racism, which is unlawful. Inform him that the resultant publicity may have a negative impact on his chances for running for re-election, and that you may have to sue him in his personal capacity for money damages due to his dereliction of duty, defalcation, embezzlement of public funds, and damage due to his injury to you and or your property rights. So let's do something real quick. Let's see what these words mean right here. I don't like assuming. Alright, so dereliction mean willful neglect as of duty or principle. The act of abandoning, abandonment, a state of abandonment or neglect, deliberate, conscious, or willful neglect. Wow. An intentional abandonment, the state of being abandoned. So they pretty much abandoned their duties. Dereliction, defalcation. And embezzlement is almost like extortion. They're lying to you and forcing you into giving them money, and they're extorting you by them telling you that you have to give them money. So it's embezzlement. And for them, so defalcation is like embezzlement. Is the act of dishonestly withholding assets for the purpose of conversion of such assets by one or more individuals to whom such assets have been promised to. A defalcation is an amount of funds misappropriated, because they are misappropriating the funds, which means they're using the funds inappropriately in the tax money inappropriately and not fulfilling their duties. So defalcation and dereliction. So misappropriate is an amount of funds misappropriated by a person trusted, a trustee, because they're trustees and you trusted them as a grantor. You grant them the permission to protect you and your property and everything under their law, and they're not now. With its charge. So a person trusted with its charge. Also the act of misappropriation, or an instance thereof. So they say diversion, misapplication, misappropriation, misuse, or theft of funds by some executive or high official who is entrusted with those funds. So the act of a defaulter, misappropriation of trust funds or money held in any fiduciary capacity, which is a trustee capacity. Failure to properly account for such funds. Where the heck did the money go? Alright, so that's what that means. 10. Send the sheriff certified mail a notice in demand for production or exhibition without dishonor. So you're always going to send that with them as well. Send this with them as well. Notice in demand for production or exhibition of law and statute that authorizes him to A. Perform selective enforcement of the law. And you'll custom make this to your own situation. To perform selective enforcement of the law. B. To accept the people's pay and not execute unlawful warrants. C. Personally edit and censor documents or refuse to perform his or her duty under his and her sworn oath. And that's it. Keep it simple. 11. If either the sheriff or the recorder of deeds say that they take their orders from some government lawyer, get that in writing. Get that in writing. You need that in writing. Or have it on audio. After, and only after, you have the above admission and confession in writing. So after, and only after, you have the above admission and confession in writing, leave their office. Then perform the previous certified mail step and add item D. Provide the statute or law passed by the legislator that authorizes them to relinquish their office over to another, whoever, regardless of whether they're government attorneys or not, while continuing to accept and negotiate cash, their paycheck after having turned over their office to said other. Once because they're selling their office to the District of Columbia, and the District of Columbia, the Federal Reserve, the all caps name is pretty much England. The Vatican, they own every property and everything still, and England's still ruling us, so we're still under English law and speaking English and stuff like that. So all bar association people which are British Admiralty Registry, Admiralty of the Sea, which mean they're foreigners and they're alien. When you register with them, their laws apply to you now, the laws of England. So they can't, once they start working for England, they're no longer working for America. They're no longer in this land. They're a foreign esquire, a foreign agent, a foreign mercenary. You see, a foreign merchant. They're a merchant on top of that, which means they're an employee on the job. And those laws that they're trying to apply to you only apply to them because they're contracted to be an employee of that type of system. You see? And that's the trick that these people don't comprehend and stuff, that those laws don't apply to you, apply to whoever registered with the District of Columbia. And they need proof that you did too. And if you put zip codes on your paperwork and you're using area codes and stuff like that, then most likely, yeah, you're registered with the District of Columbia. That's giving them jurisdiction. So they have passed their office over to England, but they can't do that, not without the people's permission. So I don't know what law authorizes them to do that. And they already relinquished their office once they work for another country in the same position. It's like sending backstabbing double agents into our system. A double agent. That's a high treason, man. That's worthy of death. That can result in death. High penalty, man. Once the clerks, sheriffs, etc. realize their potential liability, it is likely that they will do their duty long before you get to step 11. Here's an alternative analysis, which may have a better practical success rate in accomplishing your goal of getting various documents recorded as a matter of public record, public recording, in good faith. In some counties, among the thousands of counties in the United States, incorporation, U.S. all caps, incorporated, you may find recalcitrant clerks who abandon their duty, who will refuse to file your properly executed documents. While such clerks are violating their sworn public duty to record and make a matter of public record your properly executed documents, as a practical matter, suing a recalcitrant country clerk or county clerk usually will be less effective than various alternatives. So let's read that again. While such clerks are violating their sworn public duty to record and make a matter of public record your properly executed documents, as a practical matter, suing a recalcitrant county clerk usually will be less effective than various alternatives. Your best bet is probably 1. Be low profile in recording any properly executed good faith documents via certified mail or registered mail. Don't particularly discuss the contents of the documents you're filing with the clerk. You're not trying to hide anything. After all, you're making a matter of public record various statements you are affirming the truth of in good faith. But attracting undue attention may impede the process of anything you may wish to make a matter of public record. If you do run into a recalcitrant clerk who doesn't like what you're doing, simply try another county or try the same county on a different occasion. This fits very well with our strategy of creating your own creative alternatives when confronted with certain bureaucratic obstacles. If you try another county, remember that for some types of documents there may be a requirement that property that's a subject of the documents may have to be located in the county of recording. So you got to make sure that the property that you're trying to take and you're putting the lien into is where the property you're going to be levying is in. So 3, you could, as a different alternative, try using appropriate media publications to make your documents a matter of public record by publishing the documents. You'll need to research the particulars of how to do this in your own area, in locality, your own domicile, if you use this option. But finding a county clerk that does their job routinely and properly is probably low profile. So abuse of judicial power. There have been cases reported of judges who have threatened to jail lieners for contempt of court. This is a high charge and claim, but it's a contempt of court for them to be obstructing justice and trying to stop you from speaking the truth and introduce evidence to your case. So they try to threaten them with jail time if they do not voluntarily lift their liens. In 2 cases, the judges actually carried out their threat. Such legal coercion, force, manipulation, unlawful aggression, trespass on their part is almost certainly unlawful, but no one's doing anything to stop them. Nonetheless, some judges will use that tactic if they think the liener is vulnerable. You gotta be courageous and speak firm and talk like someone who knows what they're saying and someone who's free. Be articulate and give the definitions of the words that you're using if you believe they may not know the definition. Because everything you state should be plain and simple. Not even plain and simple, but have evidence and proof and be simple. Just straight to the point. Boom, boom, boom. No personal feelings or anything attached, just the facts. No charge. No emotional charge or energetic charge. To deal with this problem, it is helpful to remember the following. 1. The only reason the judge is making that threat is because he has no lawful means of extinguishing the lien. It is a move of fear and desperation, scared as hell. 2. Assess your own vulnerability. Will a few days in jail seriously affect your life? If not, you have some psychological leverage. Otherwise, the judge has a lever over you. So your vulnerability is being scared to go to jail. So they use that against you until you give in. You can't give in. You have to stay strong and firm. Have faith. Trust the divine. Know your creator's with you through this. You're going to get out. You will be free. You will beat this case. Oh, yes, you will. And you have already. You are destined and bound to. That's why you're going through it. So you can beat it again. 3. If your lien does end up in court, you may want to have a lawyer or a talented pro se or pro per with you so that somebody can file an effective writ of habeas corpus if necessary. Also, you may wish to learn how to effectively defend yourself against contempt charges. To ask them to purge the charge. Like, I'm sorry, forgive me, I wasn't trying to offend the court. Please purge your contempt. Please purge your pardon me. What is it again? Your claim of contempt or your threat of contempt. Please purge your threat of contempt. And then they'll say, okay, contempt purge or whatever, charges purge or whatever. You have to ask for forgiveness pretty much. Do some research on that. I never got hit with a contempt charge before, but I've seen people have. And you have to ask them to purge it, ask for forgiveness, tell them that you're not trying to offend them in any way. You were just stating the facts on it for the record and introducing evidence for your case that is vital for the proper judgment of this, overall claim. So, 4. If the judge actually does imprison you on a bogus contempt charge, he becomes personally liable for civil damages under Title 42, United States Code, Section 1983. Title 42 U.S.C., Section 1983. Title 42 U.S.C., Section 1983, or state equivalent, criminal sanctions, which mean now they're going to have to pay you and have criminal charges placed against them, criminal obligations, or not obligation, pardon me, criminal encumbrances, criminal charges, and a commercial lien. The judge is taking a risk by violating your rights. He is probably hoping that you don't know how to pursue an effective legal remedy. legal cure. In many ways, this is a game of chicken. I am simply looking for my remedy. Chapter 7. The Coloring Agreement Approach. Background. Many libertarian and patriot pro-per litigants have had their constitutional arguments rejected by a federal judge with the words, "We won't have that document in this courtroom. This is an admiralty court or a court of war," like they told me when I was in there. This is a court of war. I'm like, what? It's a maritime court, and you can tell because the yellow fringe around the flag, the yellow border around the flag. Not a court of law. Don Smith, a pro-per attorney, in fact, has devised an approach that may get around this problem. He calls it the coloring agreement. The idea is to make the Constitution and the Bill of Rights colorable law and admiralty jurisdiction. In this way, the Constitution and the Bills of Rights are simply contractual provisions that can be enforced in an admiralty court. And the Constitution revolved around the natural laws of the land by the people for the people. So it wasn't like it was just made up by a man or one group. It was by the people for the people. You see, at some point before it fell. Or that's what it should be. Or we need to make the natural laws and the universal laws constitutional laws through paperwork and provisions. So the Constitution of America revolved around the natural laws, but it also limited people from the natural laws because now they're contracting to be under the Constitution and work for America. Once you become official, you limit yourself from a few of your natural rights. You don't have the right to do certain things no more because you're under contract. And that's what the Bill of Rights is. It doesn't mean that it applied to natural people. Only the people who are in the government. That these are their rights. And that these are their limits as well. And anything that's stipulated in the contract does not apply. It doesn't exist. So make sure everything you want to apply exists in your paperwork. That is there. That is said. That is warned of. It is pre-told. This is a kind of Chinese box approach to the Constitution, whereby the Constitution encompasses admiralty jurisdiction, and admiralty jurisdiction encompasses the Uniform Commercial Code, and the Uniform Commercial Code encompasses contracts, including the coloring agreement, and the coloring agreement encompasses the Constitution once again. So you see this how they're turning the Constitution into a legal agreement, a legal matter, into an admiralty and the Uniform Commercial Code and a contract law obligation, especially if they don't rebut it. So the Constitution encompasses admiralty jurisdiction. The Constitution talks about admiralty law. Make sure you know that. Although the Constitution's dead now because no one's doing anything. And admiralty jurisdiction encompasses the Uniform Commercial Code. So the law of the sea can also apply to the Uniform Commercial Code. And the people create the Constitution. So the people encompasses the Constitution. Then the Constitution encompasses admiralty jurisdiction. Admiralty jurisdiction encompasses the UCC. The UCC encompasses contracts, because it's the Code of Commerce, the Code of Commercial Activities, including the coloring agreement, color of law agreement. Now they're entering a willful, deliberate, and explicit color of law agreement explicitly. And the coloring agreement, which is taking you out of the natural law and out of everything that you ever been in, putting you in a private agreement, which is a coloring agreement, encompasses the Constitution once again. So now you can enforce the Constitution either way you want to. You see? So instructions. If a federal, state, or local official violates your rights or credibly threatens to do so, take the coloring agreement, Appendix B.5 below. Substitute your name and the name of the government official in question. And be sure to substitute all references to Arizona law with those of your own state or locality, Appendix B.5. If the presentee is a federal official, You may choose to omit the references to state law. Present the coloring agreement to the official in question, either in person or by certified mail. If the official is under oath to defend the Constitution of the United States of America or the state in question, she or he is bound by the agreement, whether or not she or he accepts it or dishonors it. Present the agreement up to 3 times. If it is returned dishonored each time, then you may sue to compel him or her to accept it. Based upon the oath of office. Where is their oath of office? You always got to question oaths of office as well. Oaths of office. Because that's what gives them the permission and authority to even rule over your case. And if you can't see that, you don't feel comfortable with them ruling over your case because you don't know who they are. It hasn't been affirmed and confirmed. You see, so you want to see their oath of office and what gives them the authority and permission to be working in your state. Where's their green card or their license if they're working for foreign people and they're foreign esquires? That's just treason. That's piracy, and that got to be told on and for the record and let the people know that these foreigners and aliens are taking over our system and country and they have no license to be here, no permission. So know what an oath of office is in every way so you can state these things. And every official have to have an oath of office or they're not official. Don Smith expands upon the theory as follows. The object is to create a civil contract, not tort liability, for the government agent for violating your constitutional rights, which rights are probably not part of the agreement that you signed, and is the reason the government agent is bothering you in the first place. This will likely have a chilling effect on the agent's activities towards you. In other words, you will probably not hear from him again. For any violation, simply file contract, not tort action, to recover the amount specified in the coloring agreement schedule, or financial schedule, or fee schedule. Because your fee schedule would be your receipt, your invoice, and stuff like that. Your fee schedule, how much you're charging per what, and blah blah blah. That's what a fee schedule is. How much a paperwork stating how much you charge per what, and all that stuff, which is a coloring agreement schedule, a coloring agreement, and fee schedule. Affidavit. And you're not going to go after them as tort, because tort would mean you're going through their system and through their law to sue them, and that won't work because you won't get remedy. But if you contract with them and you send them a contract and they don't answer that, then they enter a coloring agreement with you, a private agreement, and then you can sue them for the amount specified in that and recover whatever you need to recover from that action. Also, criminal penalties may accumulate if you have to go to court. You see what I'm saying? So there is a chance that you can file criminal charges on them as well, and have them criminally liable for what they caused. So you can pretty much fuck them over in many different ways. Pardon my language. So if the violator is a federal sworn employee, suing U.S. Incorporated Court of Federal Claims. Court of Federal Claims. 717 Madison Place, Northwest Washington, District of Columbia. When the beast invades your rights, or rights thereafter, your suit is in contract instead of equity. If IRS is involved, this moves the case into the Court of Claims. If over $10,000, sounding in admiralty instance. Under $10,000, the district court sits as a court of claims to enforce the contract dispute if a federal defendant, and if the case sounds in admiralty instance. You want to be in admiralty, not equity, since you don't have any squish in the decision of the court. The same can be done in state court, sounding in admiralty instance. So you want to also write on your paperwork, this is a contract in admiralty. You see, this is a contract in admiralty. Because the Constitution authorizes admiralty. This is the law of the sea. We're on the sea. This is a contract based on the sea. So I take you away from the land and take you completely from your element and from your jurisdiction and place you into my private one. This is what they're doing to us, to all of us. You need only characterize your pleading as a complaint in the way of libel. Libel or libels may be used for judgments. That means when they talk bad about your name and make you look bad and defame your character and stuff like that, similar to slander. It may be used for judgments as well as prize. So your complaint can be in the way of libel. They're making you look bad. They're defaming your name. They're lying about you. They're saying that you owe them and you don't, and they try to discredit you and dishonor you and make you look dishonorable, which is all libel. So that's a crime actually in the system as well. They actually have a code for that. You want strict enforcement of the contract. You don't want equity civil rights enforcement, because civil rights mean the rights that the government gives you. And if you don't have a contract with the government, they didn't give you rights and they can't give you rights. So your rights ain't based on civil rights. It's based on natural unalienable rights. And the natural unalienable right to contract unlimitedly. And the natural unalienable right to consent and not consent to what you want to consent to. And the unalienable right to do what you want to do if it don't injure anybody or it doesn't take away from somebody. You see, and if someone else is taking from you and injuring you, they're committing a tort. They're injuring you. You know, they're pretty much injuring you. That's a crime. That's unlawful. It's not authorized. Unless you allow it to happen, then it's going to happen often, and that's what's happening in the system today. If the government employee or official ignores the coloring agreement and proceeds to violate the rights you have established by contract, the coloring agreement, you may file a commercial lien against him. A private coloring agreement. For a sample lien, see Appendix B.8 below. Smith points out that this approach only creates an agreement between you and the specific government official involved. He also states that it will only work if the official has sworn an oath of office. So if they didn't swear oath of office, then they didn't make a promise to fulfill any law. That means you have to sue them through a different way now, not through the Constitution. You have to use a different way, but you can still use the Constitution because obviously they're on our land, they're on your land. Use the Constitution of your land if it's correct. And if it's based off of freedom and independency. Otherwise, the official will simply dishonor the agreement. However, if the official is not under an oath of office, this can still have a chilling effect. Imagine an official pleading in court to have the agreement set aside because he, the official, has not sworn an oath of office. This creates many embarrassing issues. For example, if the official is not under oath, is he an imposter, acting in his own capacity? If not, who does he really work for? Are all his official acts legally void? Should all prisoners prosecuted by him or her be released from prison? Rather than open up such a can of worms, the hornet's nest arise. The oathless official is much more likely to drop matters and leave you alone. Don Smith writes a newsletter, Writ Rap. To obtain a copy, send SASE to Don Smith, NRA, CO General Delivery. You can check this out if you want to read it. I'm going to continue. Chapter 8, Final Thoughts, by Alfred Adask, editor. This chapter consists of excerpts from several editorials by Alfred Adask, editor, publisher of the Anti-Shyster. All excerpts and quotations from Mr. Adask are reprinted with permission from the anti-Shaster, etc., etc. That's contemptible. That is contemptible. Precisely because the commercial lien is so powerful that even judges cannot remove it. You may run into a particularly cantankerous. Alright, you may run into a particularly cantankerous, abusive, tyrannical old judge who can't stand the idea that his powers might not be irresistibly godlike. If you encounter one of these megalomaniacs, he may decide to exceed his lawful power and jail you for contempt of court for insisting on your lawful rights. Since he cannot declare the lien illegal or invalid, charging you with contempt of court is probably his only recourse, his last resort. So as you already know, you can be absolutely right in your application of law and still wind up in the slammer. Therefore, because you start leaning on government officials, you'd best learn or benefit you would best benefit from learning how to defend yourself against contempt citations. The various lien strategies are not toys for playful pro-pers. These strategies appear to be so powerful, so threatening to the bad guys, that you can bet that they will respond forcefully and exploit whatever powers they have, lawful or otherwise, to defeat these liens. So be careful. It takes more than brains. Judges routinely abuse their authority and get away with it. So what's to stop them from abusing the authority in any case involving commercial liens? Your courage, your commitment, brains, and knowledge are not enough. It takes guts, pure raw guts, pure raw braveness. You must have faith that there is something bigger than us happening right now that's taking place. That the Creator is always with you, and so are the angels, and you're always protected in the light and shield of the Creator, in the loving grace and mercy of your Creator. And it controls Him. He is under God. God and the Creator, Ahaya, Ashura, Ahaya, controls everything. The Almighty I Am, the greatest I Am, the I Am greater than us. This little I Am isn't as great as the Almighty I Am. So only you can stop the judicial abuse. And initially, it'll be tough. There will be some casualties. But what it boils down to is this. 1. This is a civil rights struggle or a natural rights struggle. It's political. That means lots of people. Therefore, you can't go after the system or its henchmen by yourself. You must work with others who are in a position to support you in court, in the media, and if necessary, in jail. 2. Initially, a few folks who file commercial liens will have to be willing to pay the price of going to jail in order to draw media attention to the judicial abuse and to the original crimes that precipitated the particular commercial lien. If that thought is distressing, realize that from the point of view of the other side, it will be necessary for a few judges to risk being sued, impeached, even jailed in order to scare us out of filing liens. In other words, unknown to most of us, the judges are also in jeopardy. So it's a two-edged sword. 3. A judicial threat is not the same as a judicial act. Threatening to jail you is not likely to create a cause of action, since you have not been damaged. Without the damage, the act, or false imprisonment, you can't sue lien the judge himself. So the judge is more interested in threatening, bluffing you into compliance than in actually jailing you, since your incarceration may expose the judge himself to personal liability. And you might want to let them know that on him for the record, that you incarcerating me is exposing you to personal liability, to let you know that on him for the record. So you cannot make a legal determination for me without my permission and without a contract. And I do not consent to your jurisdiction in this offer of contract unless you can prove that we have a contract stating that I have to. You see? So you cannot invade my natural inalienable rights, so you're naturally injuring me. 4. Just as judges will try to scare us off with threats of contempt, we must try to scare the judges with threats of public exposure and even civil and criminal charges, as well as treason and perjury filed against the judges, especially treason for breaking their oath of office. You would be committing treason if you charge me for contempt because I'm introducing evidence that is vital to this case. You would be breaking the oath of office if you do so. So I ask for you to forgive or drop the contempt charges, and go from there. There's just so much stuff you can say. You can't really prepare for what you may say because every judge is different and there's so much things you can say. You see, but know this stuff. That you would be committing treason for and breaking your oath of office for charging me with contempt of court for introducing evidence into the case that is vital for this case, which is the merit for this case, the legs of this case, the support of this case, the foundation of this case, the subject matter and jurisdiction of this case. You can't obstruct justice and avoid introducing evidence into the case and for the jury to see. That's treason. And that's perjury alongside of it. The law is not the only issue. This is also a test of will and nerve. He's got to know that you won't quit. You've got to realize that the practice of law involves a great deal more than just law. It involves psychological warfare, guile, bluff, and the ability to read your adversary. Remember, despite what you might be led to believe by the movies, court cases are not scholarly debates so much as contests, even street fights. Knowing the law is just the beginning. You've also got to be able to know your opponent and also to keep your opponent from knowing you. It is not enough to have the words. You've got to have the guts enough to stand behind them, to enforce them, to imply them, knowing that you might not win, knowing that you might even suffer a serious punishment for saying the words. If the judge smells fear, I smell fear. Why are you afraid? Why aren't you brave? Why aren't you trusting and faithful and reliant on your Creator? The judge smells fear, and so does the officer. He can feast now and eat and grow. He can slap you around even if you're right. If he smells courage and conviction, hold up, I smell courage in here. I think I might go to jail. This dude's not playing. He might actually do all this. If he smells courage and conviction sufficient to cause him personal liability, he will be reluctant to mistreat you even if you are wrong. This is not just law, it's politics, politricks, and more than politics. It's a fight, it's a war, it's a legal war, paper war. It's a fight. Do you understand? Complete with black eyes and bloody nose, and sometimes even worse. But it's a fair fight because as bad as those judges may be, they're human, under God, the Most High, and they know they are outnumbered thousands to one. The judge can hurt you if you stand alone, but if you stand with others, you can hurt the judge. So get the jury involved. Get the people involved, everyone who's sitting in the courtroom. The people are my witness that I'm stating on and for the record that I am not the entity that you're claiming. But you don't want to go in there talking about I'm not. I conditionally accept your claim if you can prove that the entity you're stating is me. I conditionally accept this. I conditionally accept that. Don't go in there saying I'm not. Or I can't. You have to say I am that I am. I am that I am. I conditionally accept. Set your own terms and conditions. So in the final analysis, the issue will be settled as an act of will and courage. It will be won by the side that refuses to lose. A silver bullet rifle. Patriot and pro-per publications routinely present new strategies which purport to overcome the various forms of institutionalized injustice in the American legal system. Often, these new strategies are implicitly guaranteed to work first time every time to quickly defeat injustice and achieve results most people would regard as impossible. These can't-lose strategies are generally known as silver bullets. Adherents of these silver bullet strategies often embrace and espouse them with a religious fervor, so sure that they are absolutely right, they tolerate no deviation from their ultimate truth. I am that I am, the Almighty I am, pure white light spirit, and there's something greater than all of us. Critics, however, remind us that the term silver bullets is derived from the can't-miss accuracy of the Lone Ranger and the mystical effect of silver bullets on werewolves and other creatures of the night, like liars, judges, and IRS agents, foreign agents. These critics contend that today's silver bullets are every bit as fictitious as their forebears, and to believe in any of them is equally naive, or perhaps even delusional. Even their codes and all that stuff, it doesn't apply to you. You don't need to use codes and all that stuff. I'm beginning to realize many things. The critics may be right. Perhaps there are no silver bullets to stop injustice and criminal empire. After all, our laws and courts are so capricious and complex that every search for justice has become a kind of crapshoot, or crapshoot, in which anything is possible and nothing can be precisely predicted or relied upon. And justice has died on the cross because Yeshua or Christ represents justice, and justice is coming back. Justice is resurrecting, and it's just us, or it's just ice. Justice. So do silver bullets really exist? I think they do. I believe in silver bullets because ultimately I believe in rule by law, then rule by man. And so I must believe in the law and its essence, silver bullets, which is prime creator's law, the laws of existence, natural law, universal law, spiritual law, the law of the land, the law of free will. You see, the law of God, the Most High. So God is the silver bullet, and the Holy Book will help you in building a foundation about what that means, because God means positive energy, the devil means negative energy. God credits and give energy, the devil's a debtor. It takes and consumes energy. You see? And we're dealing with energy, because energy versus energy, psychologically. Psycho means psychic, psychic means energetic. So it's a energetical logic, or logically energetic. The laws of energy, energetics, electromagnetism. Electro pushes, magnetism, magnetic attracts. So you got to know how to properly push and pull and work the waves of the moment and of the scene, and use the proper words, the proper verbs, the proper terms to state your facts and shoot your silver bullet. And you can tell when you're shooting these silver bullets because it feels right, and you're hitting everything right on the ball and keeping it simple and straight to the point everyone's like, oh, I never thought of that before. Wow, that is true. Silver bullets. Things that are just ultimate truths. After all, in the final analysis, because we're just analyzing a few different angles and things we can do, silver bullets are nothing more than quintessential, irrefutable, unbeatable principles and applications of law. So, having confessed my belief in silver bullets, do I claim to sell them in publications like this, Anti-Shyster? Can you depend on every article, on every opinion, on every word we publish to be accurate and refutable and guaranteed to give you victory every time? Absolutely not. Can you depend on any of the theories and strategies presented in this publication to qualify as silver bullets? Maybe, sometimes, actually, it depends. Depends on what? It depends on you. Your psychological state of being, your psychological competence, your awareness, your consciousness, being aware of what's taking place and what's being said and what's being done. Being conscious of what a contract means on every level, spiritually and physically. To know where you stand. And to know where you stand is your jurisdiction. And that is the only place you will be standing today, until proven otherwise. To conditionally accept and to set your conditions by using the word conditionally accept to state your points and prove your points. By not denying or defending or arguing with the claims, but by simply raising questions. Ask questions. Don't answer questions. Ask questions. Answer questions by asking a question. Are you McIntosh? Is there a law stating that you have to have a name? The simple question is, are you McIntosh? My simple question is there a law stating that I have to have a name, or that anyone has to have a name? It's very simple, my honor. If you say yes, I'll answer your question. If you say no, I choose to remain I am that I am, on and for the record. So, things like that. So if they refuse to give you the answer in your counterclaim by conditionally accepting, things, then they're the one refusing. Now they're in trouble. They become in trouble. Now you're switching the court unto them. You're making them start to reject what you're saying and disagree with what you're saying and defraud what you're saying and remain silent with what you're saying because they know it's true. Now if they hit you with a question, when you answer their question with a question, hit them with another question again. So to continue the silver bullet analogy, answer this. Do you think you can throw a silver bullet with enough armed speed and currency to pierce the heart of a charging werewolf? Of course not. See my point? You can do whatever you believe you can. With the Most High Almighty I Am, pure white light, you can accomplish anything. I am that I am. Ahaya, sure, ahaya. Ahaya, sure, ahaya. Ahaya, sure, ahaya. I am that I am. Almighty I am. Be with us now, in spirit, in consciousness, in flesh, in bone, in blood, in energy, in soul. I am that I am. Armed with silver bullets, the Most High, and a proper rifle, the League of Angels, you can kill werewolves, non-positive energy, lies, with truth. But without a rifle, ultimate truth, silver bullets are no better than a handful of pebbles. Without the proper rifle, the power behind the bullet, the oomph, the pow, the solar plexus energy, all you can do is fling bullets at the werewolf by hand. And that's only gonna make the mutt mad. So where you buy a rifle that shoots silver bullets? Sorry, you can't buy one, but you can make your own. With all the evidence that's been stated herein and throughout the world and from everyone. So do your research. And where can you make such a rifle? In a quiet room Meditate. Close your eyes. Go within. Go within. Now ask yourself, who are you? Who are they? What gives them rights to make you do what they tell you to do? What gives them rights to make you perform what you don't want to perform? What gives them rights to make you enter into agreements or contracts when you state that you don't agree and all that? And what gives you the right to say these things? What gives you the right to speak and ask questions? What gives you the rights that you have rights? What endows you with rights? Who is your creator? Who's in charge of you? Go into a quiet room. Quiet your mind. Meditate. Go to a library or a church or read a holy book. Sometimes an athletic field. Sometimes on an athletic field in a war or hospital emergency room. Does this silver bullet rifle analogy confuse you? Well, it's just a riddle to try to make my point. You see, you are the rifle. Just as you can't shoot a .22 caliber bullet without a .22 caliber rifle, you can't fire a silver bullet without a silver bullet rifle. To successfully aim and fire a silver bullet, you must become a silver bullet. You must be a machine. You must be machined to achieve the proper caliber and barrel strength to withstand the explosion, the power. You must have your sights aligned with solid judgment to reliably strike your target. To reliably strike your target. And perhaps most importantly, you must have or create enough personal courage to pull the trigger or press the button or throw the bomb. To fire silver bullets, you need more than information. You need understanding of law, of everything that is, which only you can provide. And more than understanding, you need determination, persistence, perseverance, tolerance, courage, as well as integrity and consistency. In other words, you must have the personal character necessary to shoot wolves, and you got to know how to kind of entertain them at the same time. You see what I'm saying? Where you're stating the truth. Because if you can make them laugh and trigger their good sense of humor, then you have a leverage as well over them. Because humans are weak to humor and entertainment. And the judges use that a lot in the courtroom and stuff. You know, to make you laugh, to make people feel comfortable and things like that. Humor is a strategy. Oh, what you think? I'm Superman? You know, get everyone to be distracted real quick. And to reset the mood. Be like, oh, this judge probably not that bad. This guy right here saying all this stuff might be bad. You know, unless you can make everyone laugh as well and you know, use the same tactics. You can't just be pure aggressive. You have to come in peace. You have to be loving. You have to, you know, base everything on those laws and unity and equality and things like that in order to see the truth. It's very simple. So in other words, you must have the personal character necessary to shoot wolves, werewolves, vampires, leeches, ticks, fleas. So who will machine you into a rifle? Or the proper strength, power, courage, boldness, braveness, fearlessness, and caliber to fire silver bullets? The answer is obvious. It's a do-it-yourself project and you're it. And how will you machine yourself into a silver bullet rifle? The answer is beyond the scope of this publication. Suffice it to say that each of us will use a different method to discover or create our own courage, morality, and character. But know that you can't fire silver bullets accurately until you first make yourself into someone with a long-term commitment to justice rather than a short-term appetite for a quick personal advantage. Remember, silver bullets are not magic incantations. Some folks use silver bullets with great success. Others use the very same words and forms, but fail. It's not enough to merely say the words or fill out the form. You must understand what you are doing. Silver bullets are merely instructions, procedures, and directions which tell you how someone else killed their particular werewolf. Silver bullets provide only information. You must provide the understanding, courage, courage, and character, and necessary to apply the information correctly. Don't depend on mere words and forms. Don't depend on luck. Don't depend on silver bullets. Depend on you, your heart, your gut feelings, your intuition, your visions, your creativity, your mind, imagination, your heart. Depend on your perseverance, your understanding, and your determination to seek justice rather than unearned wealth or revenge. So, are the theories and strategies in this publication silver bullets? Maybe. Will they save your house or your car? Will they save your money, your job, your business, or your family? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But even if you lose, your efforts won't go unrewarded. You will be rewarded. Your efforts will be rewarded in a way that you can never explain. You become spiritually rich. In the end, the search for silver bullets may create something unexpected and more valuable than property or even relationships. It may create a human rifle or human nuclear, a moral being endowed with understanding, courage, and character. Believe it or not, the continuing study of law, not procedure, which the lawyers revere, will lead you to the concept of justice, then to morality, onto religion or spirituality, and finally, perhaps even to God, the Creator, the Almighty Spirit. So good luck to you, ladies and gentlemen. You have begun a journey in a challenging hunt. You may have started by looking for silver bullets, but you may end up by finding, even creating, a person of real value, yourself. And they might have to kill you one day or something because you know too much, you're freeing too much people, and wow, you're just too awesome, just too great, just untouchable. Like, whoa, we gotta put this one away. And they've been doing that a lot to many people, and that's why there's a risk in doing this, especially during this time. But what needs to be done, man. We can't chicken out and just surrender before the fight begins. He who leaves the battlefield first lose the war, man. What you doing? We have to face our responsibility. The more we ignore it, the bigger it'll pile up. Can't just kick it under the rug and expect it to not be under the rug. It's gonna be there piling up until it's bigger than you. So we gotta do something, or everything's is just gonna come down with one big pow, one big blow, one big sploosh. Editor's comment: for most worthwhile things, you must expand your personal power, your intellectual power, your spiritual power, your mind's power, your emotional power, energy and motion. We at Terra Libra don't generally figure there are silver bullet solutions that will work all the time. But Mr. Dust's comments are an excellent exposition of some of the thinking skills required for success in any use you might make of this manual, and for success in general. The conduit rifle is you. You are the one who needs to individually determine, in good faith of course, what statutes apply to you or not. You are the one who needs to apply information in a manner that applies to you in that particular situation. It is then and only then that you have knowledge about that subject. So we're going to go ahead and pause on page 39. Hold on. Actually, hold on. Let me see. Yeah, we're gonna continue on in part 3 of this wait, pardon me, in part 4 of this video, and we're gonna get into how to write the affidavits and the notice of demands. But before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and read these last 2 pages. It's right here. Appendix A, sources and bibliography. Further reading about commercial lien strategy. The following publications are available from the Anti-Shyster at this location, or you can go to their website, antishyster.com. Commercial Lien Study Guide by Alfred Adas. Commercial Liens 2 by Hartford Van Dyke. Commercial Law Lien Study Guide by Alfred Adask. Paralegal Support, The Right Way, Law. So Don Smith writes a newsletter, Writ Rap. To obtain a copy, send SASE to Don Smith at this address. For back issues or teleconference, send 1 unopened roll of stamps to the same address, and you will receive 3 720 kilobytes disc, Word Perfect 4.2 format. So they'll send you information. And basic legal references. Black's Law Dictionary, 6th edition, West Publishers. Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, you're going to need this. Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, because those are the 2 courtrooms you're going to be going to. United States Code, that one is long as heck, but you'll learn a lot from jumping around on that. An annotated, available at most public libraries. American Jurisprudence, 2nd edition, Lawyers Cooperative Publishing Company. Corpus Juris, Secundum. Corpus mean body. Juris, let me see. I actually would not know what juris mean. I don't want to assume that it means jury. And secundum means second. So it means something about a body. Or juris probably mean jurisdiction. So jurisdiction of the second jurisdiction of the body. Second jurisdiction of the body. Corpus juris secundum. The statutes of your own state or locality. So the statutes of your own state. Florida State Statute. Massachusetts State Statutes. Georgia State Statute. You know, Tampa, whatever. I mean, Texas State Statute. Whatever it may be. And here is Appendix B. Index of Sample Legal Briefs. Index of Sample Legal Briefs. Index of Sample Legal Briefs. Please note, you will have to reformat these briefs using your word processing software, and you must adapt them to your situation and to the requirements of your state or locality. These are not in the nature of things, rerum natura, cannot be fill in the blank forms. So B1 is example of notice and demand, which is right here, which we're going to read in part 4. B2, example of notice of default. B3, model commercial affidavit. B4, model criminal complaint. B5, the coloring agreement, private coloring agreement. B6, Phil Mosh's lien on the United States government, which is a very funny section. B7, Nelson Starr's lien on judges and IRS agents. And these people, they teach you from their own experience and lessons what happened and stuff like that. And then B.8, model commercial lien. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you guys had learned a lot. May you continue to proceed with me until part 4. Check out my other videos on my page. If you have any questions, if you would like to give anything to me or donate anything to me, $5, $10, $15, or $20, whatever you can or have, please contact me at God Lives in Our Heart. God Lives in Our Heart at hotmail.com. And I'll respond to you through there and give you more answers, more information, whatever you need. And let's work together on this, you all. We need to unite the world. We need to assemble. We all need to group up together and pair up, because our laws are being infringed upon, our rights are being invaded, and we need to do something about it now. In whatever way we can do it before it gets violent. You see, violence should be the last result, and it is a result. It is a strategy. It is an option, but it should be the very, very last one. Peace, love, joy, and fairness and equality should always preside war and come before war or anything like that. So let's unite and do what's right in the right way, in a peaceful way, before we have to get brutally violent and to pretty much free ourselves from slavery. Because I won't remain a slave, many Americans won't remain a slave, and we just won't serve the devil. We rather chop off the devil's head. So may the Most High bless your soul and bless your heart. The Almighty I Am presence always with you. May you remember who you are. I know who I am. I am that I am. I am what was, what is, and what will always be. I am a spiritual being. I am a spiritual light, and I will always be. And we are the children of the light. We're forever children. We're forever disciples. And we're forever angels and prophets of the Most High. On mission, on duty to bring justice into this world today. Shalom, everyone. Namaste and Sat Nam. Truth is my identity. In Lakesh. The God in me recognizes the God in you.